Hey everyone, it's Path. Today we are going to talk about a certain fire-breathing lizard called Charizard. It is because this is still, within the first week of official release of Phantasmal Flame, because everyone is chasing after these two little lizards. Which one are we talking about? It's basically the Mega Charizard XEX as well as the Mega Charizard XEX, the other version, Gold Foil version, Mega Hyper Rare, and the other one is the SIR. And so what do you want to talk about? Basically, I'm trying to see whether we can try to make a little bit of sense and also make a little bit of prediction just for fun. I'm not a single investment person. I don't really speculate on singles. I collect singles, but I don't speculate on them. I don't buy them in bulk as a form of investment. But I think it's interesting because whether we like it or not, the value of a single card actually really affects the box price and how the box may perform. So I think for me, even though I'm predominantly collecting sealed products, to me it is still very interesting to see how these single prices will move. So without further ado, just let me quickly show you. What I did was on the collector app, I just search Charizard. You can do the same thing, and then you just click on cards only and just filter by English cards only. So otherwise, all the Japanese and Chinese cards will come out. But even after doing that, I'm still very surprised to see Japanese cards still shows up here. And so of course the most expensive ones are like the first edition Shadowless, really rare holo foil. Yeah, $12,000 per card. I don't look into the detail because that's not the whole point of today's video. But yeah, the top three, you have the Charizard Gold Star Delta Species, $10,000, Skyreach Charizard, this is very rare, and then some stuff pre-release and things like that. But the thing that we are focusing on today is the Phantasmal Flame SIR as well as the Gold card. If we really count, this is number 17 at the moment, and that is after considering it dropped about 50% of its value in the last 1 week. So if you look at this, 1 week before, it would have been ranked all the way up here. So yeah, number 11. So right now it's at 17, and the gold version is at about number 24, so $649. These are all in USD. Again, this dropped 43% since 1 week ago. So I think most people you ask would probably tell you that this cards will continue to drop. Of course, I've seen there are many comments in some other people's channel when they talk about Phantasmal Flame, when they talk about the Charizard. There are many people who actually defend against it, and many people think that this is the best thing since sliced bread. Art is so beautiful. They have all the evolution from Charmander to Charmeleon to Charizard to Mega Charizard X. Everything is so beautiful. You wait till you see the actual card in your hand, and then you really appreciate that this is like the best art ever. Yeah, I've heard many of that and I've seen many of that, but the fact is that we honestly do not know how it will go, whether this will be Moonbryon of this era. We really do not know. But what we can do is we look at the prices and the movement of some of the also very expensive cards. And for example, if we just look at one of the more expensive card here with Pikachu EX, and I'm only looking at the main series sets because you will know what I mean. Because if you see a big drop over here, right, the first few months, this is released in November 2024, so about almost exactly 1 year ago. So the first few months actually was when Surging Spark was quite difficult to get, even though the first week or so it's not that bad. But after that, in January, December onwards, it's very hard to get a product. But then there was a reprint in somewhere in the middle of the year, and then you see a very sharp drop. Because what that means is why the drop is also because once the supply hits the market, when more people rip the products, more Pikachu EX actually comes out, more SIR, and then the price will drop because people who are trying to sell, there will basically be a race to the bottom, and if the demand is less than the supply, it will continue to drop until it stabilizes to a price where the supply and the demand, it matches each other. And after the reprint, when everything dries up, then it may start going up again. And then recently we have another supply in the Pokemon Center as well as a lot of vending machine in the US. It doesn't apply to anywhere else in the world. Unfortunately, we don't get that at all, but still you see a pretty sharp drop over here. This is about another 10% drop. Who knows where it's going to stop, where it will stabilize, but you can see actually many times all these sharp drops, especially for sets and the cards that are still in print, it really corresponds pretty well with reprints. And especially if this is not a card where everybody is trying to own, and then it is just basically a balance between the supply and demand. And the next one we want to look at is actually Mega Evolution, because what is interesting between Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flame is that both of them have very similar release schedule. So both of them will be released in 2 waves, and both of them have the new Mega Hyper Rare card in them, the gold card. And even though of course one of them is Charizard, this set, Mega Evolution have Lucario, Gardevoir and Venusaur. They are not exactly apple to apple comparison, but I think it is close enough and warrants some kind of reference and comparison. So let's take a look. Let's start with the Mega Lucario EX, the Mega Hyper Rare version. So at release compared to at pre-release, it dropped from $700 to about $550, and then it went up when more people are chasing after them, because this is actually the first this and Mega Gardevoir are the first Mega Hyper Rare cards that we have. Probably many people are speculating that this is going to be the next best thing. Everybody is going to start chasing after them, so there are actually many people who wanted to buy them. And then when the second wave hits in the US, I believe it's somewhere near end of October. In Singapore, we only got it, in the last 1 week or 2, but you can see how the price is moving. Again, once more people rip the product, and then there's more supply in the market, then the demand would have to match the supply. If there's not enough demand in the market, then basically whoever want to sell it will have to race to the bottom until the people who are actually considering buying think it's a good deal, and then the deal will go through. So same thing goes with Mega Gardevoir, but surprisingly you don't see a little heel over here. So Mega Gardevoir did not have a little jump after release, so basically it stayed quite stable. So at pre-release it's very expensive, more than $1,000. After release, which is on the 28th September, it went down to $900 and dropped to almost half the price, $500. And then when the second wave comes, it drops below $500. Now right now it's below $400. So again, it is a pretty significant drop. This is about 30% from the release price in about 1.5 months time. So I forgot to check this. So this is 548. So this is maybe about 10 to 15%. And what about the SIR? I think you can see something pretty similar at pre-release. As usual, is pretty high. At release is $455, and then once it's released, it dropped to $300, and it's pretty stable throughout until the second wave come with more supply hitting the market. From $300, it dropped to $220, and with Mega Lucario, I think you will see something very similar. Yeah, so from about $400 drop to $280, and it stay pretty stable, go up and down a little bit until the second wave hits $280, and right now it's at $220, just like the Mega Gardevoir. So again, this is about 25 to 30% lower than at the earlier bottom that we have. So what can we learn about this? So now let's turn our attention to the Phantasmal Flame Charizard SIR. So what do I think the card will cost by the time Christmas come around or end of the year? If we take reference to the Mega Evolution cards and to how the cards actually move, I would say this card probably will be another 30% lower. And if we take 30% off the current price, that will give me about $520. Something around that range by Christmas time. That would be my prediction. You may say it's a hot take. We'll see and see how off am I or how right am I. It's fun. Another one, this is at the current price $650, and it's dipping, but when the second wave come, it's going to be even worse. That's what I would think. If we take again another 30% off this price, it's going to be $420. Again, we'll revisit in December by Christmas time, by the new year, and see how far off my prediction is. I might be totally wrong. Everybody may probably actually love this card more than we expect. Same as the SIR. Maybe I'm totally off. Maybe this one will, shoot to the sky again and rocket to the moon. Who knows? Again, I'm not trying to say that it's a bad card, but $500 is a very high price for any new cards that is currently in print. Of course, right now it is very, very volatile because these are so new and there are not many of the supply in the market yet. But yeah, wait till everybody rip their packs, and especially after the second wave come, I think we're gonna see this card bottom out pretty nicely, and that probably would be a nice time to buy if you are actually looking to own the card. If you really want to keep one in your personal collection, I think that would be the good time. So yeah, take note of the Christmas time, check out the price of these two cards, and if it matches your budget, I think that would be a best time to buy it. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I said? Or do you think I'm way off? Do you think I'm underestimating this card? Or do you think I'm actually overestimating this card? Let me know what you think. Right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.